Welcome everyone to today's OKX Web3 Twitter space. Today we are talking about our new partner for the new season, Season 8 of Cryptopedia. For those unfamiliar with Cryptopedia, it is a platform on the OKX Web3 wallet that allows you to learn and earn by going through different tasks. We introduce you to new chains and new projects, and that way you can really better understand how their ecosystems work. It's a great platform. For anyone really looking to further their knowledge in blockchain, to better understand different chains and projects, whilst also earning some rewards. This season, we are introducing ZetaChain. ZetaChain is a new EVM-compatible Layer 1 blockchain that connects everything, and we'll get exactly into what this means and its impact on interactions across chains in just a moment. First, let's introduce the speakers. Today we have ZetaChain team and 5 different projects in building on ZetaChain. So we have Jonathan Covey, head of community at ZetaChain, John, founder of Lenex, Mrigank, co-founder of Eddy Finance, Alex, founder of ZK.me, and Ray, head of BD at Desig, and Boyang, who should be joining soon enough, founder of Project 12. So make sure everyone listening here today gives all the speakers a like, give them a like and a follow. Give the space a like. Let's boost the algorithm, get this space out, give ZetaChain some more publicity. And without further ado, I would love to pass this straight to our speakers to introduce your project. Please let us know who are the users that should really be interacting with your new chain and your project, and what exactly are the problems you are solving with them. Let's go ahead and start with Jonathan Covey, head of community at ZetaChain.
Thanks, David, for hosting this and for all of the Zeta apps joining and being part of this program. So yeah, you mentioned that ZetaChain is a new L1 blockchain, EVM compatible, and what makes it special is that it connects all chains. And really, we have two target groups. One is developers, like the folks on this call, and ZetaChain is aiming to offer a new interoperability standard. And what that standard is what we call omni-chain smart contract. You deploy one dApp on ZetaChain. That application can span all chains and write to external chains, manage native assets and data on those chains, even native Bitcoin, all from one place. And there's no wrapping or locking tokens in the traditional sense, like bridges and locking tokens and vaults. And so the value prop for devs is today you have to maintain apps in a lot of different places, and ZetaChain is giving them a more efficient and secure way to access users, liquidity, whatever network that they're on. The second group is all of Web3 crypto users, and the benefit of using these types of applications, these omni-chain dApps, is a much better user experience. You just need one wallet, like OKX, for example. Doesn't matter really what network you're on. You can call contracts from connected external chains or be connected on ZetaChain. All of that is abstracted away, and you can do cross-chain transactions where everything is quite faster and cheaper because it's all in one system, one state system on ZetaChain. And again, no risk of wrapped and locked tokens. This isn't a proof of stake L1 blockchain. So yeah, very new approach towards interoperability, which we think is really holding the industry back right now. And that's what ZetaChain's about. Thanks.
Thanks, John. Interoperability is definitely a pain point for all cryptocurrency and Web3. It's really a barrier for new users coming into Web3 because just the sheer number of chains and different layers just makes it so confusing for these new users. So it's great to see ZetaChain really innovating on that, and I'd love to really be part of that experience to see how that works because it just sounds amazing. I'm going to pass the introduction on next to John from Lenex.
Hi everyone, I'm really excited to be here, and thanks for the great introduction, David. So Lennox is allowing users to deposit any collateral and borrow against it on any chain. With interop with of ZetaChain, what we're especially excited about is allowing users to interact with non-smart chains like Bitcoin and unlocking the liquidity from networks like Bitcoin to collateralize Bitcoin and borrow against it. So our main product is the CDP to maker DAOs DAI, where users can collateralize Bitcoin and then mint out their stablecoin against it. The Zeta chain ecosystem is especially engaging and very live these days. So look out for our new feature. We've launched on we've launched on the testnet, and we will be going with the new feature with on the stablecoin soon. So stay tuned.
Thanks, John, for the introduction. I think there's a bit of internet problems, maybe on your side, but for anyone who didn't get that, Lenex is working on lending and borrowing on ZetaChain. We'll hear more from them later on. It's also a very exciting project, so stay tuned for that. For our next introduction, let's hear from Eddie Finance and Rigank.
Hey, thanks for having me here. At Eddy Finance, what we're building is we're building an omni-chain DEX where you can move your native assets across chains, and also move your stable coins across chains without having to worrying about high gas fees. So currently, if you look at the major market, I think a big factor that's keeping us down is the movement of funds between different chains, and we could see that by the amount of bridge hacks that occurred just last year alone. So our core focus is to make it more secure using ZetaChain's OmniChain smart contracts and just deal with native assets, bring in efficiency, and remove all the complex message passing that leads to increase in the gas price. So apart from that, we also run pools on native assets, so you can deposit your money and then get yields on pairs like BTC ETH, and other common tri pools. And we do all of this by utilizing the omnichain smart contracts and creating pools that have unified liquidity, and that gives you more liquidity when you're trying to move across chains. Thank you.
Thank you, Magrank. I'm definitely looking forward to trying out these new DeFi protocols across ZetaChain and seeing how it works across these different chains. Next, we have Alex at ZKMe.
Hey, David. Thanks for having us, and thanks, Jonathan, for putting this together. So ZKMe is an identity infrastructure leveraging zero-knowledge proofs in order to allow for anonymous and cross-chain verification of user credentials. So we leverage, or we're going to leverage ZetaChain's omni-chain NFT capabilities in order to not have any trust assumptions when doing the cross-chain bridging of credentials. And at the moment, we're targeting, it's a B2B offering in which we're targeting protocols that want to verify users either for legal requirements or for advertisement requirements without compromising on the ethos of Web3. So without compromises on decentralization and without compromises on user privacy. So private user verifications.
Yeah, that's definitely a very exciting one, especially in Web3. User verification is something that we are all struggling with, especially when it comes to different interactions with across a host of dApps. And I believe if Project 12 isn't on now, then we have an introduction of our last speaker, Ray from Desig.
Hi guys, this is Ray from DSIG. Thank you to ZetaChain and OKX for inviting us today. Thank you to David. So DSIG is a flexible chain agnostic smart multi-sig wallet designed to streamline treasury operations. Our ideal users are DAO owners, project co founders, and treasury managers. We solve the problem of complex finance operations by offering a smart multi sig wallet that simplifies financial management, enhances cash flow tracking, and optimizes swapping and staking cross chain all in one place and on the go. So, DSIG empowers users to make informed allocations, maximize use, and also embrace a seamless Web3 finance experience. And it's all powered by ZetaChain's omnichain technology.
Thank you, Ray. I don't see Project 12 online, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's keep this casual. If I'm just going to shoot out questions, and if you feel like answering, then please just unmute and go ahead. And I guess we'll start with, since this is a ZetaChain space, let's just chat about why specifically did you choose ZetaChain to build on? What role does it play in your projects, and why exactly partner with them? I'll just go ahead with whoever on mics first.
I can start from ZetaChain being from like the infrastructure side. So yeah, I'm just listening to everyone on the call, and it's quite a diverse group of applications. There are DeFi builders, ZK.me in social identity. You just heard from Ray, DAO tooling, like cross-chain treasury management. P12 is gaming. Hopefully they join. So when you think about interoperability, cross-chain, multi-chain, whatever you want to call it, it does impact everything. Existing projects, like the biggest tier one apps in this space. And I think this is especially true for very early startups like Lennox and Eddy Finance, where you're confronted with this issue of what chain should I build on? How do you navigate what is clearly a very multi-chain landscape? And the current approaches of having to integrate multiple blockchains and deal with one-off patchy bridge solutions with questionable security models like the wrapped assets, it's confusing, and it pulls developers away from focusing on their actual products and getting users and having accessibility to all of Web3. So like what we're hearing from the ecosystem, why build on ZetaChain, it goes back to this idea of deploying in one place and having access to users and liquidity on any network. And I think like that's the way the standard internet works. And hopefully we can bring that to Web3. You should have access to all internet users by default in Web3. So we're offering what we like to say is a backwards, forwards compatible blockchain for developers. And we're testing this slogan of the only blockchain you'll ever need. So that's my 2 cents.
I couldn't agree more. So I think one of the mega trends that is maybe starting to get recognized is that we are very clearly moving towards a future with app-specific chains. So we're going to talk of a future in which there are not like 10 different chains, there are maybe like 50 different chains. And just from our perspective, when ZK.me was starting to deploy on several different chains, and we had to introduce the trust assumption into our own bridge, we were looking into solutions being built. And I think ZetaChain was the only, or still is the only one that is like fully committed to this multi-chain future. So usually when you talk to other chain providers, it's always like, like we are the ecosystem that's going to win the whole market. I think ZetaChain takes a different approach, and that's really positive for the whole industry. And I also like that ZetaChain is starting to highlight BTC, like Bitcoin as an infrastructure or as an ecosystem, because I think we're going to see some exciting things being built on top of Bitcoin in the future as well.
Absolutely. I mean, we already saw this year with the development of ordinals, um, and and starting to build some kind of smart contracts on Bitcoin. We can see people are taking Bitcoin a lot more seriously with how to use it. Do we have any other answers from Eddy Finance, Desig, or Lennox?
Hey, I couldn't agree with it more with everyone here. And what we're especially excited about building on Zeta Chain is that not only we are leveraging non-smart chains like Bitcoin, but we're also able to tap into existing protocols like Aave and Compound. So we're not like um, we're not like traditional pure pull to pull lending protocols, in that we're more as leveraging existing protocols to offer higher yields and better interest for users. For example, what we can do is we can allow users to deposit ETH on Ethereum mainnet, and then we can leverage Zeta Chain to deposit the asset on Arbitrum, which might offer a higher interest for the users. So not only that we're uh, offering a seamless user experience to operate on any chain, but we can leverage other protocols with Zeta Chain.
Even I agree on what everyone on the projects that are building on Zeta Chain said, right? I mean, one of the biggest things for us has been unlocking Bitcoin and the utility of our pools. And the second one is we were able to do things that were not previously possible in the whole interoperability space. So one of our key focuses is on reduction of slippage and gas fees. So for assets that are pegged to each other, for example, stable coins, with the help of ZetaChain's infrastructure, we are able to create pools where, let's say, USDT on Ethereum and USDC on, for example, Polygon, can exist into a single pool. So that makes the capability of creating cross-chain pools with unified liquidity possible. And similarly, having pools that include native assets such as um, Ether or Bitcoin and even Matic token all together in a single pool. So these create new avenues for us to um, extend what DeFi has sort of put on in terms of moving across chains, and we are happy to utilize ZetaChain to sort of build like the next level on that.
On our solution, since multisig often involve access on various blockchains, so D6 cross-chain functionality powered by ZetaChain ensures that our users can seamlessly interact with and manage access on different chains, and also for Bitcoin. So cross-chain capabilities are essentials to our offering as they expand our users' financial mobility. It also enhances the convenience and the accessibility and efficiency of multi-sig management. And a lot of treasuries are also storing their assets in Bitcoin. So it's a really essential move for us to incorporate what Zeta Chain brings us with the technology.
Thank you, everyone. Cross-chain interoperability is a big one across all the projects, it seems. And we know that there are often similar comparisons across different chains, whether it comes to DeFi or even a form of user verification. What I'd like to ask next, a very broad one, what makes your project slightly different to what we see in projects nowadays? Perhaps we can move to Lennox for this one, because lending and borrowing is quite a big one in across all chains.
All right. Thanks for the handover. So traditionally, we are used to Aave and Compound, where they created the peer-to-pool lending system. But what we differentiate on is what I like to call tier two protocol lending model. What this means is that not only that users can borrow assets on any chain and while depositing assets from any chain as well, that but they can also leverage existing protocols, as I said earlier. For example, if you hold an asset on Ethereum chain and you want to maximize the yield, think of it as a yield aggregator. You can you can find the lowest interest, and you can find the best yields with the existing protocols and reliable ones too, like Aave and Compound with ZetaChain. Since ZetaChain is interoperable with any EVM or non EVM chains, so this is a revolutionary tech, in my opinion, that we looked into a lot of chains to deploy on, but Zeta chain just made sense, a lot of sense for us to develop on of this specific implementation of peer to protocol landing structure that we're innovating on.
Thank you. Similar question to Eddy Finance, really. What's really the difference in your approach to token swapping that makes you more unique and perhaps even more efficient?
Yeah, thanks for the handover. Basically, what makes us different from other protocols out there is that we are able to bring assets into a single pool and use different logics that make swapping efficient between chains. For example, for assets that are pegged, or example, like again, taking the example from the previous thing that I spoke about, on terms of stable coins, you want the algorithm to be something that's similar to, for example, Curve. So we're able to implement curve logic, but in an omni-chain format that makes your cross-chain swap exponentially cheaper than other solutions. Similarly, when you're dealing with, let's say, native assets only, you're able to implement a Uniswap-based pool model that again optimizes for the cost for those specific assets. So we're able to optimize on that layer and give users a better opportunity to move across chains, and also cut down on costs that are incurred because of complex message passing on different solutions that exist out there. And last is elimination of any kind of wrapped assets. So these do two things. One is mainly improve the security of the whole system, and the second is that it gives you more opportunity to leverage the DeFi protocols. For example, lending and borrowing, as Lennox spoke about, right? You can with the limited scope of doing DeFi on wrapped assets, we sort of also eliminate that route.
Thank you, Murgang, from Eddy Finance. I want to move to Desig because the idea of multi-sigs across different chains has been played around with, but I think the idea of cross-chain in multi-sigs is a bit different. And we all know that multi-sigs give you the opportunity to be more secure. It gives maybe companies the opportunity to safely use cryptocurrencies without relying on a single person controlling the wallet. So really, how does cross-chain play into your capabilities of using multi-sig?
So to answer these questions, I will go back a little bit to what I've said before. Since cross-chain capabilities is essential to a multi-sig like ourselves, as we've seen with a lot of user bases who are DAOs and projects who tend to manage assets on various blockchains, and they own various types of assets. So we figured that for a normal multisig where assets stay on one chain and it doesn't move around, and there are no other let's say DeFi incentivized solution to help them to grow their assets more sustainably, it's really a shame because you have a really big amount of money and you just leave it there, and it cannot move like between the chains. So like you have to own multiple assets at once, and you also have to figure out how to move that asset, how to like invest that assets in a really fragmented way. But for D6 solution, the cross-chain functionality help our users to seamlessly interact and manage assets on different chains at once and across multiple vaults, across multiple blockchains, which essentially simplify the treasury operations. It means that users get to be more convenient, get to access their assets more easily. They can do it on the go because we also have a mobile app. And thanks to the technology, we offer keyless and gasless solution. But the most important thing is still the solution that we could provide to our users through the integration with ZetaChain, because our Smart Swap and Smart Stake are all based on ZetaChain cross-chain capability, which is like a new world for trading experience for groups.
Thank you, Ray from Desig. I think it's definitely interesting how we incorporate multisig into our interactions. I want to switch to ZK.me, where user verification is definitely an interesting one. To be honest, I personally don't know too much about user verification on chain, so I'm very curious. I'd love to learn more about your approach, and how do you compare to like other companies in the space? Not that I'm familiar with really any other, but please do let me know. And how does this cross-chain functionality come into play for you?
Yeah, I think maybe a good starting point is DID protocol. So there are countless DID protocols out there, which always had the goal of providing a decentralized storage, or like a standard on how to store or put credential data on chain. And ZKMe just goes one step further. So rather than having this decentralized storage with a centralized data provider, we also decentralize the data provider. So the user themselves generate proofs through the use of zero-knowledge proofs, and put these proofs on chain without a trust assumption in any centralized data processor. So just like a roll-up leverages zero-knowledge proof in order for underlying chains to be able to trust that transactions have been verified, protocols that use ZKMe can trust that a user verification has taken place without having access to the proper underlying data. So the user stays anonymous while the protocol is able to fulfill its verification needs.
Thank you. And now I'm moving, before I go back to free flow, let's move back to ZetaChain. Cross-chain is cross-chain interoperability, again, is the main feature that we're hearing from all the other projects. And really, I want to know from you, Jonathan, what makes ZetaChain so different from all the other layer ones, because there are just so many different layer ones right now that exist. Yeah, please do let me know.
Sure. Yeah, indeed there are. So yeah, what jumps out to me, it was mentioned before, is Bitcoin and non-smart contract connectivity, and that's why we're really leaning into interop with Bitcoin. And it's not limited to only fungible Bitcoin, like Hominids is in the audience, and they're another Zeta app in the ecosystem, a metaverse project, and building a game. And they just won our Bitcoin hackathon this week. And their project is that you can buy NFTs in DeFi using native Bitcoin from your Bitcoin wallet. So that's pretty transformational. And there's more feature set coming on that. And then like ZNS Connect is also in the audience. They're building cross-chain domain naming service. And like every chain has a dot whatever and it's a pretty stagnant space. So I think what they're doing can be pretty transformational with omni-chain domains. And then like with respect to other L1s in the space, like everyone by design, like a blockchain tries to bring as much of the ecosystem as it can into its own. And so there's this tribal battle to steal liquidity from each other. And uh, this is what leads us down a path of continued fragmentation. Um, and like there are forward-thinking blockchains out there with respect to interoperability. Cosmos IBS was inspiring to ZetaChain. I don't know how well adopted Polkadot substrate is, but this is another example of blockchains with a focus on interoperability, but they don't have that Bitcoin connectivity, and you have to adopt their standards. So yeah, like philosophically, the cool thing about ZetaChain is that because it can operate across all chains, it can bring liquidity and volume to and from all chains. And ZetaChain doesn't have to steal from other L1s and L2s. So, uh, like architecturally, like when you look at the technology for ZetaChain, every network is an equal participant. And we have this unique ability to say we could grow with other blockchains, and that maximizes efficiency, and people will build the best stuff because you have the freest marketplace of ideas. Thanks.
Thanks. That sounds amazing. I mean, even to me, where I'm kind of used to using one chain and then using a bridge on a third-party platform and then waiting quite a long period of time, converting, everything just seems even inconvenient to Web3 natives. So having this stronger relationship between different chains and being able to just smoothly interact with everything, I think is just a massive game changer. And it's a great innovation that I think you guys are working on fantastically well. And I think we're about halfway through. So what I'd like to do is just remind everyone to please go ahead and follow our speakers. They're all building great projects. ZetaChain is working really hard. Give this space a like, and drop a comment. Let's improve the algorithm to get ZetaChain the publicity it deserves. Now, moving on to a more open, an open question for our speakers. We've heard a little bit about Bitcoin and how using ZetaChain just allows that liquidity to flow between chains, allows people to access Bitcoin in a new way. So how relevant is the support of Bitcoin in your projects, and how important do you see this in the broader crypto ecosystem? I'll leave this open to anyone.
I'll go first. And thank you so much, David, for a very smooth moderation. It's been a pleasure to be on this space. So I think Jonathan summarized everything really well in the previous in his previous remarks. Uzeta chain is really special that it's not fragmenting any liquidity, but we're essentially leveraging each network's full potential as a capital resource or liquidity resource. While other chains get a billion valuation, but have a limited TVL, as we've seen throughout this bear market. Leveraging Bitcoin is especially important for us because a lot a lot of the users hold a lot of Bitcoins, but there's no use to it. For example, strategy is accumulating a lot of Bitcoins, but essentially it's not generating yields. They're only hoping to Bitcoin to increase in prices. But what our products can offer is we allow users to deposit their Bitcoin and gain yields against it. So this will be the first Bitcoin staking that will be available on the market that actually provides yields for the users. So not only that you are you're holding on to your Bitcoin, but you're allowing for capital efficiency and even get yields on your Bitcoin. So this tech is really exciting that you are able to use Bitcoin in a novel ways. And I know the other protocols here are innovating on it, so I'm excited to hear what their thoughts on it too.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you said, John. Like, I also believe like there's highest amount of liquidity staying on Bitcoin, and that's not being able to interact with the DeFi system as a whole, right? So one of the biggest friction is the way you can move your Bitcoin into the EVM ecosystem and still be engaged in DeFi, and that today is currently usually done through wrapped BTC or via wrapped assets or solutions that generally take up a lot of fees or a lot of time. So, and this is not just a one-way street; it's a two-way street. Even if you, for example, if someone wants to buy an ordinal and they just hop on to a very new user and they have all the liquidity on Ethereum, it's very hard for them to move into the other ecosystems. But since there's high amount of liquidity on Bitcoin and majority of the DeFi ecosystem has matured on the EVM ecosystems, I think there needs to be a way that's optimal for users to engage with DeFi. And I think ZetaChain provides like a good, solid ground to build that up. And we at Eddy Finance are trying to just follow that on and create like a very easy method to move between these two chains and fulfill your purpose. So the BTC user that have been on sidelines for a while can now probably come in and enjoy the benefits of DeFi and um, sort of in all because of these two ecosystems intermingling together. I think this will make the ecosystem of DeFi more stable and more resilient in the future.
Thank you, Lennox and Eddie Finance. With regards to Bitcoin, using the Bitcoin network, ZKME or Desic, do you have any input on this?
I wholeheartedly agree with what Eddie Finance and Lennox already pointed out, because the support for the Bitcoin network in DZIC is really highly relevant, as I mentioned, as Bitcoin is an asset that is used as treasury for many groups. And sorry, for supporting the Bitcoin network makes DZ a versatile wallet that can bridge the gap between different blockchains and also provide a lot of accessibility to users. And I think it's a really is a really big thing that could come in the multi-sig section.
Definitely, I'd love to see more and more dApps being built on Bitcoin and being able to interact with Bitcoin is going to be really exciting. I personally don't really interact too much with BTC, so everyone, all the speakers here today might be changing my habits as well in the future. ZKMe, do you want to jump in on this?
Not much to add on Bitcoin. Like we're super excited to see the development and the ecosystem that is growing there. As a company that provides user verification needs in a B2B environment, we're more too happy to cater to that growing ecosystem and happy to see ZetaChain be one of the few that natively supports the management of assets on top of Bitcoin. So excited, but taking like a little bit more of a supporting role, I would say.
Absolutely. I think that's what we all want to do as well. We're all here to support each other. We want to support the growth of every chain as much as possible, because in Web3, if one project wins and it's a great project, then everyone wins, because we're really improving the amount of users in the space. We're improving how we interact with each other. Overall, we're all in one community. So let's give it the best shot. I'll ask ZetaChain if they want to jump in. I know you've mentioned a lot about what you guys do. I'm not sure if you want to add anything else on top of well, Bitcoin, on top of how we interact with Bitcoin.
Yeah, and I love what you just said about growing with the ecosystem. Like again, there's a non-competitive nature about ZetaChain, where it's like if Arbitrum or Optimism or Filecoin or whatever turns out to be important to the crypto ecosystem, then we'll integrate. So yeah, this vision of ZetaChain is always to be capable of connecting to chains, legacy ones, future ones, but it's the most important chains that the ecosystem actually cares about, because there are a lot of like operational and security implications to make these integrations, and a lot of chains have hype and then go away for a while. But inarguably, Bitcoin is one that everybody agrees is like here to stay, number one coin, most liquidity on it. It's it happens to be that there are millions of users with dormant wallets, so it's like this incredible untapped opportunity in DeFi. So yeah, we're really leaning into this in the near term, and as we approach mainnet and the rest of next year after mainnet, yeah, we think like this ability to program Bitcoin and involve Bitcoin in any sort of complex DeFi app, like Eddie is doing with swapping and pooling, Lennox is doing with borrowing and lending, like that's really transformational. And I mentioned it's not limited to fungible Bitcoin. So again, Hominids is in the audience, and they showed that you could buy stuff with Bitcoin from the Bitcoin network. You can buy digital assets and DeFi. So yeah, ton of opportunity with Bitcoin, and everybody's really excited about it.
Great, amazing. Yes, I think if anyone mentions Bitcoin and how we use Bitcoin, it's definitely going to get all our blood pumping, because we all want to make the most of it. So we've chatted a lot about what you guys are doing now, what you're kind of building in the near future, but I'm just wondering what's kind of next on the horizon. What's next on your roadmap? What are you building towards, and what do you kind of hope to see, and how do you hope users will interact with you in the future? Again, I will leave this open to whoever wants to chat first, whoever feels the need for speed.
Sure, I can. Or maybe Alex, if you want to go.
All good. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So for us, we're currently focused on deploying multiple types of pools on our dApp. So as users, you can now come in and engage with our pools, and you can also engage with those official ZetaChain pools, and let's say supply liquidity and start earning yields on them. We're also building towards like an incentivized liquidity pool model. Apart from that, so these you should be able to see them on the Eddie Finance dApp very soon. Apart from that, we're also gearing up towards a model of launchpads where we are gearing up for all of the projects who would want to utilize a service like that. So we are working on creating that infrastructure in the near future. Apart from that, we've got a good rewards program that had been up and running for some while. So we're adding like very interesting next layers of things to it and make it more engaging. So this is just on the horizon, and obviously from that, then we focus on more efficiency and introducing new architecture on our pools.
Very cool what you're building. Like we really love Eddie Finance. Can't wait to see you live, and hopefully some collaboration in the future. So from ZKME side, at the moment we're focusing on two things. So we're focusing on just increasing the amount of different credentials that we offer. So at the moment we have 7 different credentials in 3 different verticals. We focus on anti-bot, anti-SIBO, on compliance, things like geofencing and proof of citizenship, but also things like on-chain accredited investor checks. And then we are opening a third vertical focusing on user behavior, where we bridge things like gaming behavior for GameFi protocols that want to target high value users. And then the second thing, given that we have been live for 4 months now, we are eagerly waiting on the chance of supporting ZetaChain and migrating some of the bridges that we have at the moment to something that is more native. So yeah, these will be the 2 major areas of improvement for ZKME.
Thanks, everyone. Desik, I'm not sure if you want to add in on this. What is next on your roadmap?
So on our roadmap, like a really, really close roadmap, like in the end of this year, we're bringing cash flow management, which is like a full comprehensive system to help manage finance, where you can add categories and see all the reports on every in and out money coming from your multi-sig wallet. And this will also be created cross chain, thanks to ZetaChain. Other than that, we're introducing in-app chatting, and also really releasing out the cross-chain swap with the power of the ZetaChain, and also we will add seamless access movement between EVM compatible chains first, and also non-EVM chains in the next year. And also in 2024, we are introducing a smart staking aggregator and automated payroll features, firstly on ZetaChain and then towards others.
Thank you. I mean, it sounds like very ambitious plans from everyone. I honestly wish I could travel 3 years into the future and kind of test everything out. But don't we all when it comes to Web3? Everything moves so quickly in such a short span of time. So who knows where we will be in a couple of months, let alone in a few years. I'm not sure if ZetaChain, you guys want to add anything on top of this, or without giving any secrets, kind of what is your outlook for ZetaChain in the near future? Well, I wouldn't know any timeline, so I'll let you guys let me know.
Yeah, no, it's important to let the builders know on this call and community that the ZetaChain blockchain and the protocol itself is feature complete. It supports the Omnichain smart contracts and everything in the white paper, and then it's already open source, so people will continue to contribute to the code and upgrades, eventually voting on new chain support in the future. Like, the big focus now is getting Zeta app partners and all the ecosystem providers and infrastructure support up and running on day one, also validators. So there are a lot of moving parts, but everything is in a good place. And then, like, roadmap wise, there's definitely some cool stuff that we want to do. I'll just mention one thing related to Bitcoin to hype people up. So I mentioned, like, on day one, users will be able to buy NFTs and DeFi from their Bitcoin wallet address, where that gets associated to your EVM address that holds the NFT, and that's pretty new and innovative. The next thing that ZetaChain wants to support is the minting of actual Bitcoin NFTs on the Bitcoin network. And so, like, you could manage Bitcoin ordinals or inscriptions from ZetaChain, and then Bitcoin users can trade and leverage those Bitcoin NFTs across any DeFi chain, like as if it were an ERC 721. So That's something to look forward to.
That is definitely very, very interesting. I do wonder if that will be the second rise of ordinals when you guys reach that point, because I mean, we saw a massive rise of ordinals, but I think just because it's so complex, it's very difficult for new users to get into ordinals unless the hype is still strong. So
we've been talking to a lot of the guys and gals leading that front on ordinals, and they're pretty hyped.
Awesome. I really can't wait to see it. I hope you guys bring it out next week. But as we're reaching the end, and this is a collaboration with Cryptopedia, and for anyone again unfamiliar with Cryptopedia, Cryptopedia is partnering with ZetaChain for their new season, Season 8, where you can go through the tasks on Cryptopedia. It kind of teaches you about ZetaChain and the dApps on there, and at the end, you just receive ZetaChain related rewards, and it's just a great way. Get to know ZetaChain, get to know the different dApps and the projects. I think there's nothing you can lose, really. This is just all pure knowledge, and in Web3, the person who knows the most wins. So with that said, what is everyone here hoping to get out of the partnership with Cryptopedia? Obviously, a lot of users will be interacting with you. What are you hoping the users take from this interaction and this partnership? Again, open one if anyone
So
wants
I'll
to take
go
it.
first. Cryptopedia has been a great experience for us, where we've allowed to introduce our first product, the lending protocol, to the users, and Cryptopedia has allowed us to gain a lot of traction on Discord and plus Twitter, and we've seen the most transaction we've seen since the launch of testnet. So we've seen about 1,000-fold in transaction numbers alone, and increasing the community size of five times fold. And we were really excited to launch after the help of Cryptopedia. Thank you, everyone, and really hyped to work with OKX Wallet, and looking forward to the launch of the ZetaChain.
Thank you, Linux. 1,000-fold increase in transactions, everyone. That's fantastic, and it just goes to show that once people start using, goes across different chains, start using different dApps, you can really gain some popularity and some really great loyal users. So yeah, anyone else want to take on this? What do you hope to gain from your partnership with Cryptopedia?
So for us, from more of the ecosystem perspective, we want to provide programs like this for Zeta apps to get user feedback and test their products before mainnet launch. And that's why we're putting 100K USD in rewards behind the campaign with Cryptopedia. We want to expand it soon, definitely post mainnet, and do lots of things like this. So like we take it pretty seriously, and we're trying to create the next big important applications in our ecosystem. So yeah, there'll be more news on new initiatives and expansions to come.
Can't wait. For us at ZKME, the whole Cryptopedia experience was like a kickoff for two different things. So first of all, it was a kickoff for a very pleasant collaboration with OKX and OKX Wallet. So big kudos to what you guys are doing. To be honest, like OKX Wallet has become one of my favorite wallets since starting this campaign. And then second, it has been like a good way for us to kick off on the non-compliance based credentials. So the Cryptopedia campaign was a credential in which we asked users to verify and create a score on how active they are in engaging with ZetaChain as a Twitter channel. These have been the two things that we took from the Cryptopedia campaign.
Thank you very much. Showering of kind words there towards Cryptopedia. And I hope all users who participate in Cryptopedia really get the chance to interact with all of these projects here, because they all have such fascinating plans, and they've just been spent so much time and effort in innovating on ZetaChain. I'm not sure if Desig, if you want to add on top of anything, I'll just leave that open for you.
So just want to add a few things about the Cryptopedia campaign. So for DSIC specifically, because we're also a mobile app, so it's quite a shame that we couldn't like collaborate more with OKX helps. But through the campaign, we try to educate users about the potential of ZetaChain's interoperability and also its significant role in DSIC's capabilities as a multisig. And we want to help users learn how important a multisig is in today's setting, and also help them utilize the power that ZetaChains have to navigate a smart multisig wallet operations, perform smart swap, smart stake, and make the most out of our wallet. And thanks to Cryptopedia campaign, we've seen a lot more downloads on our wallet and a lot more interactions. um I think we've got like 80,000 people participating in the quiz, and like a lot of them decided to try out DSIC. So it's a really nice experience, and we've got a lot of help from both ZetaChain and OKX. It's been a really fun ride with you all.
Thank you, everyone. We are nearing closing time. It is midnight here in Hong Kong. But if everyone has a couple of minutes left, we've seen crypto rally since news of the ETF. Things have been relatively positive and stable in the environment recently. I'd love to know, what is everyone's kind of outlook for the near future for cryptocurrencies? Do we see volume coming back in? Do we see new users adopting cryptocurrency and creating new wallets again? Overall, no one can tell the future, but I'd love to hear, what is your feeling, what is your attitude, and what is your overall outlook on the future of blockchain? Well, of course, I hope it's positive, otherwise we won't be here.
Maybe I'll just go first. So I believe the next year is going to be super positive for crypto in general. I believe a lot of institutional use cases will really start to flow in. So I'm very positive about especially next year. And then if you ask me about like the term after that, I believe 2025 is going to be a little bit rougher, just given several legislations that will start to be enforced in 2025. But in general, like 10 years from now, I believe people will look back at 2024 as the year in which mass adoption really started for crypto.
To add on a little bit, I think the trend is going to change. That it's not going to be Bitcoin versus Ethereum, but with more institutions coming in, and with the mass adoption, stablecoins are going to be the next trend in the next cycle of bull run. And we have to look out for how to interoperate with not only the chains but with the regulations itself. So when the retails come in after the next bull cycle, we'll have to make innovations in DeFi protocols to how to make exciting products that wasn't possible in traditional finance, that wasn't possible in just regular daily life transactions. And it's an exciting time for us that we're quietly building, but no one's not a lot of retailers are noticing. But we're still innovating, and to see all of these builders come into one space like this is um, nothing but a great sign for all of crypto and DeFi.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'll go quick.
No,
The energy at these conferences, we actually all met at Token 2049. We're in the OKX office in Singapore. Like the energy at that conference and others in the bear market has still been super energetic from my experience. And yeah, I know nothing about speculation, but it's not hard to be optimistic. I think when you see that developer activity is increasing year over year, there continues to be growing intrigue from the mainstream, and all the headlines about Bitcoin are out in the past couple weeks, and uh, there's a windfall on the horizon to be had, and massive step function growth by all measures. Uh, and it feels like that happens independent of how the global market behaves. In some sense, maybe I'm naive, but I think that crypto is still that early and small. And then, yeah, legislation will be something to keep an eye on. And Alex, I'm curious about the stuff you're referring to, if that's regional or whatnot. Maybe you could share in our group on Telegram. Thanks.
yeah, even I agree with the speakers here. I think this is going to be a very optimistic sort of next couple of years, at least for the whole Web3 space. And there are early indications of that, not just in terms of how the market's been reacting, but mainly because of how the builders have been building. I think it has been the most prolonged period, but still we have seen the developer activity go on day over day. It's been one of the times where the ratio of developers has been the highest. So I think the applications that we have been building out, and with the infra that is now being matured, for example, interoperability infra with ZetaChain, or even a lot of app chains that have been coming up, there are two things that are certain. One is that blockchain will eventually lead to more sort of adoption, and the second is that there is going to be liquidity fragmentation moving on from here. And I think this sets up the right time to our what ZetaChain is building, and dApps like ours and every dApp on the call, to sort of create avenues where it's very easy to sort of move. And yeah, I think that's why there's a very high chance that the future or is very bright, and it's very near to where we are standing today.
Thank you, everyone. I think we have all been very reasonably positive. And well, I think we can honestly have another chat for 1 hour about speculation on where the market is headed in the next 1 or 2 years. And oh, to be honest, I would actually love that. But it is very early hours in the evening for Asia. I think the guys in the US are just waking up. So I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. Again, follow all of our speakers here today. They are building fantastic projects on ZetaChain. Make sure you download the OKX Web3 wallet and go onto the Cryptopedia section, and then you will see everything to do with ZetaChain there. Go through the tasks, interact with ZetaChain, interact with the dApps and all the different projects there to really learn more about how everything works. Because, to new users, it can be very confusing, but we make sure to keep it as simple as possible so that you fall in love with the projects that you will be inevitably using in the future. So thank you again to all of our speakers. Another emphasis to give them a follow and download the OKX wallet. Thank you everyone for your time, and thanks for everyone joining and listening to us talk for the past hour. It's been fantastic, and I really do hope we can do another space like this.
Thank you,
Thank you,
David.
David,
Bye,
and
everyone.
thanks for everyone.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks, David.
Thank you, David. Thank you, everybody.